Hello, welcome to. My name is Sarah Oppan. I'm a business strategy consultant and a data specialist. As you may be aware, this channel is just to help people who want to navigate their way through data science, especially young ones who are confused on what to do. And like I promised, this December, I have a series of interviews with astute professionals in the data science profession in Ghana, especially. I'm sure a lot of people don't know that it is being practiced in Ghana. I'm so humbled today and happy with the guest I have today. She is somebody that I admire so much. Personally, she's been a motivation to me, especially in my career as a data scientist, made me believe in what I was doing, especially when I met her this year. My guest today is Sarah Oppan. She is the head of data and analytics at Echobank Group. She oversees data, business analytics, big data reporting within the 34 affiliate for the financial institutions. She's a big woman. I'm excited to actually have her. She's skilled in designing infrastructure and implementing data management technology to support large user groups, supporting executive level users, and effectively managing staff made up of data analysts, developers, data scientists, and engineers. I'm personally aware that she is the founder of the department, the big data department, and the analytics and data, big data, and business intelligence at Echobank. So my guest today is, like, there's so much, but I'll hold on to maybe in the course of the interview. So Sarah Oppan is my guest, and welcome, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Thank you.
All right. I'm tempted not to go by the book, but that's what I'm likely to do. Normally, I think even when I told people that I was going to interview some data professionals, most people were expecting males, especially with a profile that you have. I'm wondering, how did you get into data science? I mean, but probably, maybe let me just not skip this. You give us a background about yourself, your day, maybe the school you attended, and some little bit about yourself. I'm too excited with this interview. Please forgive me, listeners.
That's okay. Right. I went to Afra Girls Secondary School. And then before I went, I went to pursue my first degree. I did some IT courses, and then I left to the UK. I had admission at University of Greenwich. So I did my first degree at University of Greenwich in BSc Computing. So right after my first degree, I had a job with a service provider where I was a business analyst. So
in Ghana?
No, in the UK.
In the UK.
Oh. In the UK. I work with Dentsply, and I had a job as a business analyst then. So I did BSc Computing at Greenwich, and then I had a job as a business analyst. But then their business analyst had an IT role attached to it as well, where you were working with databases. So you get the requirement from businesses and you configure it. It has to do with training. So you configure it on their databases so that they will be able to spool out reports using Crystal reports. So that was how I got into data. So I did computing, work with as a business analyst. So I was sitting between the business and then technology. So I started building that interest into data and reporting and business intelligence, because my first experience was to work with Crystal reports. Then it migrated into business objects. Now, I worked there for a while, and then I had another opportunity in another organization as a BI developer, now using Crystal Report solely. So moved from business analyst to a BI developer, and then using Crystal Reports, and then they later on acquired Business Objects XI. So I was doing that reporting. Then, because I was in the IT department, I had opportunity to learn a bit of database management as well, because I was supporting doing a few cleanup, updating tables, creating views, and the likes. So it gave me understanding of what I've learned in the classroom and bringing it to the industry. So, I mean, that was how it started. And I worked there for a while, and I returned to Ghana in year 2009. That was when I came to Ghana. And then I had a job with Societe Generale as a BI project manager. They were doing migration, and then it continued from there.
So what encouraged you to move to Ghana? I mean, nowadays a lot of people do not want to come back. So
okay, so a couple of things. Now I was in the IT department as a BI developer for 3 years, actually close to 3 years. I think 3.5 years. And I realized that there was no career progression. I'm going to be a BI developer for a very long time. Maybe you'll be a senior BI developer, because the head of IT, the head of IT is a very good, very nice person, but he's young and he has no plans of moving anywhere. So I didn't see any part. But then I decided that I was coming for a holiday in Ghana, and then if I come to Ghana and I get something doing, I'll rethink about the time. Yeah, because by then I was single, so it was easy for me to make decisions. So I just came on holiday for 3 weeks. By the second week, I had a job. Wow. So by the second week, I had a job. So
that was quite, I would say it's divine, because yes. I mean, for you to just come for holidays and second week, you already got a job. That was in 2009.
Yes, that was in 2009. I had a job as a consultant with Innovari. They were doing some work for government MDAs, doing some entity relationship management that has to do with data management, and then creating more like a data schema for the MDAs. So I had that job to help with the reviews and stuff like that. Right after that, I had a Societe Generale job. So then I had to resign and then arrange for my things to be shipped down.
So actually you told them you were coming for holidays and you ended up staying in your home country. I mean, that's
exactly. Exactly.
Wow. I mean, Ghana is blessed to have people like you and here. So from Societe Generale, how did you get to your current job?
Oh, okay. So from Societe Generale, whilst there, I was also doing some consultancy for Ghana Commercial Bank, review of their reporting. They also use Flash Cube and Business Objects. So they wanted somebody to help with the migration, update of some files and stuff like that. So I had a team that worked on that. Now, before the Societe Generale contract came to an end, a friend of mine in the UK linked me up to Echobank. So I had an interview and everything, and I was fortunate. It was just by the grace of God. They said, yes, this is the resource you are looking for. So I had a job, I think June 2010. So I moved to Echobank, and it's been a very interesting place to work. Um, I'm in the eProcess, is an affiliate of Echobank. eProcess is the technology arm for Echobank. So everything technology is eProcess. Now, that interview, I went in as an ONT analytics developer.
Okay.
Now, they didn't have anybody overseeing the analytics. A lot of things were manual then, but then the way I explained what I can do for them, maybe fell
Convince them that
place. Yeah, it's in line with where they wanted to go to. So I got the job, and it's been 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
I know, like, I mean, we met earlier this year. I know great things you're doing for Echobank, especially how your, I think the group vice chair was so much of praise to you, of you. I mean, you are a fantastic asset to the company, and we are delighted to have you. Do you think that, I mean, your gender played any role? Normally, I know generally with especially STEM education all over the world, the challenges with females in STEM. How did you navigate your way through this whole data science, data, numbers, ones and zeros, and databases and tables? All right.
Okay, I must be very honest with you. I've been fortunate from the time I graduated and had my first job in the UK. I never experienced anything like that. Now, before I traveled to further my education, I did an attachment in one organization. I wouldn't like to mention it, but I felt, there were instances
You didn't
where
belong.
you're doing programming, but they will say, go and do documentation. Now, your colleagues, male colleagues, are out doing programming. We are doing development. I mean, fresh from school. But then they will say, you handle the documentation. Straight away, I realized that they're trying to say for a woman, administrative job, sort of. But then nobody came out openly to say that. But I was there for a very short while, then I went to school. In the UK, I never
I
experienced that.
see.
I had opportunity to do what you're supposed to do. Nobody recruited you because of your gender. And when I came to Ghana, it was same. Occasionally, you have your teammates because I came in as a consultant to my project, and if you have some team members, they're not too sure who you are, and maybe sometimes you're a bit assertive, but then over time, when they start to appreciate your skills, they forget you are a woman,
Yeah,
and they
it's not,
afford
it
you
has,
that respect because you've earned it. And in Echobank, e-process specific, we don't have that there at all. We respect each other. We have a very strong culture where we have people from about 18 different nationalities.
okay.
Um, yeah, 18 different nationals in e-process. We encourage women to come in. So if you're a woman and you're good at what you do, you have a place in e-process. So I never experienced that at all in e-process.
What a way to sell your company. I mean, those listening, especially the ladies, Echobank or e-process is perhaps the best place to be if you want to have a career in data science, especially.
Yes.
So you've actually skipped a lot of things that I wanted to ask, especially how you got into data science and analytics. Actually, your background from school, as well as the employment you got you into data science. What has been the major challenge, I mean, in this data science profession that you've been, like in terms of your work? What has been the major challenge in working with data?
Okay. I like the last bit you added to it in working with data. Everybody who works with data will tell you data quality.
Yeah,
Data
okay.
quality is the biggest challenge. And I realized that those who build applications don't appreciate the data the applications collect. They want
Okay.
to have a nice application that is supposed to move you from A to Z. They do that. Everybody is happy. But then the business would like to know how many have been able to be moved from A to Z. When did that happen? What are their categories? But in their design of the applications, they don't take that into consideration. So you realize that the applications collect a lot of dirty data. And when you are somebody who analyzes data or you're trying to build a model from that data, you will have challenges. You spend about 70% of your time trying to clean the data to get into the shape that you want before you can get some meaningful output.
Insights.
Yeah, so that's the biggest challenge. Secondly, because of that, you realize that a lot of data is being thrown away. That was previously. Now there are a lot of ways of using that same data because of the advancement of technology and new tools that are on the market. So you don't have that. Also, the businesses or your customers that you're trying to build a model for might not be able to tell you exactly what they want. They know they want something, but they can't tell you. So most of the time you have to make recommendations based on the data you have seen and the information or knowledge you have about their business. And then you recommend something to them. And then from the recommendation you have made, they will start bringing in requirements. Say, okay, if you add this, I will appreciate it. If you're able to get me ABC, so you know the challenges, but it's exciting.
I can see you love working with data. I mean, anybody that is, I had an interview with Dr. Sante previously, and he talked about how your passion and your interest actually drives you, especially in data and every other field, to be precise. And I can see another passionate person about data, but sometimes the quality can actually dissuade you from doing anything. But if you are
Very true.
passionate, but it's very interesting that, I mean, you cite the same challenge he mentioned with regards to the data quality. That interestingly, you are solving problems with data, but the major challenge you are having is the thing that you are trying to use to solve. And you talk about the fact that users not being used to what they want and your ability to. So that means that as a data scientist or somebody that you need to have a lot of understanding of the other side, right?
Exactly. So for data scientists, you are not restricted to did I miss you? Sorry. You are not restricted to any particular industry. You can be in manufacturing, you can be in retail, finance, insurance, you name it. Um, the techniques used in analyzing the data is the same, but you need to have a fair understanding of the industry in which you are. So there are times that you have to get the help from a subject matter expert in that industry. But then it helps if you have a little bit of understanding because you ask them questions that will lead you to what you want to achieve. Okay, so you need to have a fair understanding. Maybe spend some time with the business analyst to gather a bit of insight as to what you do, and then that will help you to see things in the data that nobody will actually see with their physical eye.
All right. I mean, the beauty of data science, your ability to bring out insights that are not readily available in the data itself by maybe moving from the descriptives into more predictive and prescriptive analysis. I think
That's right.
but I mean, I know you've done a lot in Echobank and wherever you've worked, especially for the last 10 years. There's a lot that you've done. But what particular project excites you the most, and like you feel that, Charlie, this particular project, I feel that this is what I really pushed myself, and I feel that we're able to do something so remarkable. What project is so much on your heart that was so challenging, and you feel that, I mean, I've been solving problems, but this problem, it's so cute. I mean, you feel so proud of it in your line of work as a data.
See, they're all exciting, but I would say the customer 360 view.
Okay.
The customer 360 view, we split it into phases, where we have the customer segmentation, we have the customer churn model, we have the next best offer, and the next best offer, and then there was another one, cross-sell. There was cross-sell.
Okay.
All in the customer 360. The reason why that one was exciting is that we gathered information from different sources. We created a unique customer from all the touch points they have with us. And then we looked at the customer's behavior across our channels, looking at the way they transact, their balances, their age brackets, what type of business they belong to. Is he a commercial customer? Is he a consumer customer? And then from there, we are able to see or split the data looking at the customers and their behavior, their patterns. Okay. After we segmented them, we said, okay, customers with this particular behavior over time left the bank. They stopped doing business with us. So let's take them and use them to train the data and then identify the ones we have today. Is any of them behaving in that manner to enable us to predict if the customer is going to churn or not? And that was my first big prediction model that we built. And it was like magic because we stated the date that that customer is likely to churn. And lo and behold, if nothing is done, it happens. So you're about 90 to 95% accurate in the prediction, and I find that very exciting because it's one particular model that the business has fallen in love with, and all relationship managers are using it. They get alerts earlier on, maybe sorry that in the month of, let's say, June, you have about 10 customers that are likely to churn if you don't do anything about it. And then what we do is we try to measure those that we predicted. How many were we able to turn around?
The false positives and
exactly.
And okay, I mean the prescriptive side.
Yes. So how many were we able to turn around, and then what do we do? Turn that around. And that particular model, you don't finish it. It's recurring. Every now and then you have to revisit it and then try and
see the behaviors,
attributes. So I mean, it's one of the ones that I really find exciting working on. And there are a few, about 6, 7 more, but this particular one was the first, and I was happy. My team, I mean, we came together and we were able to deliver on that.
Wow, I mean, it's just exciting to describe it. I mean, every model that you build, once you see its accuracy, especially for the business user, you get excited. The fact that it's like you're a prophet. You're able to tell.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the business users don't necessarily care about how accurate the prediction as much as the corrective measures you can put in to ensure that the right things. I mean, you sum it up with the real essence of analytics, especially in the business side. I mean, a lot of people have high horses on what data science is about, but when it comes to the industry application, like you're saying, one key part is its relevance to the end user, not how sophisticated your model
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you are solving business problems with,
That's right.
I mean, data. That's fascinating. I mean, if you want to do things like this, I mean, the data science is a very nice area to be in.
It is.
I mean, look at what she's more than perfect. So, all right. So, what tools do you use? I mean, what tools have you used in the past? I think you described some of them. What has been the trajectory, especially being an old school database person through to new school machine learning and AI?
Okay, so for data science, the tools that we've used, or I'll say that we leverage a lot on Microsoft Azure Cloud. Okay, so we use a lot of Azure Data Factory for our data extraction into the Azure Machine Learning platform. Okay, now we also use Databricks for the manipulation of data, extract, clean it up into the form that we want. Now we use for building of our models and for the statistical functions, they have a lot in Azure Machine Learning. But for scripting and the freedom to do your coding the way you want, we use Python. Okay, we use Python. Some of my data scientists are comfortable with R. So those who are comfortable with R can use it, but the bulk of the users prefer Python because it's easy to use and it has a lot of libraries that you can call for whatever you want to do in R as well. But if you do the comparison between R and Python, it seems Python is winning a lot of the R users. So we use Azure Machine Learning, we use Azure Data Factory, we use Databricks, we use Python, and sometimes R, depending on what we do. And then when we are all done, and we want the users to see what we have built, we push it onto Microsoft Power BI.
Okay.
And there are times you also load the model into maybe a table so that users who want to just pick a few of the fields to do whatever analysis they want to do. So you move it into Azure Synapse, that's Azure Analysis Azure Data Warehouse. Okay, it's secured. We have it on our tenant. So it's just an extension of our on-prem setup. So our IT security team have control over what we have there. So if you are not on our AD and you can't enter, even if you're on your AD and you're using your personal endpoint, your personal laptop or something, you can't connect unless you have enrolled your device before you can log on. So that security is there.
Wow, you are a deep Microsoft person. Bill Gates and Satya would be so proud of you.
Easy to use. But then again, the databases that the areas we pick data from Oracle, we pick data from MongoDB, MySQL, we pick data from websites. You know, we can pick from anywhere. You know, so
anywhere.
we're not
Microsoft. That's its biggest bargain. I mean, his open source in a way and user friendliness. I mean, it's easy to train yourself. But in all of this, I want to find out, how did you train? Was it self-training? Did you go to schools? Because you've done a lot and things are changing from Synapse to I've even lost count with updates. Every month they are releasing new updates of Power BI. Even lost time. They say they are now even starting. So how did you train in all of these things that you're talking about? I'm sure school did not necessarily, like your 4-year schooling necessarily did not teach you all these tools. So how did you train
Okay. It's a mixture of several platforms. So from school, you get the basics as to what to look out for. And then you do a lot of online training. Okay, YouTube is there, GitHub is there. There are also free workshops that happen. Occasionally, you have to pay a few dollars to enroll yourself to have one or two hands-on training and then get a certification. And what we are good with at Echobank as well is we train our staff a lot. So we have budget for training. So we organize training either online or in-house, or sometimes you have to travel to where the training is. So we have a mixture of them. So for somebody who is starting, I'll say there are a lot of things on YouTube, a lot. So once you get the basics, you can graduate to those platforms, websites. Microsoft will have a lot of free training in their academy. MIT also have some models for data science. You just enroll. Sometimes it's free, sometimes you pay about $90 or $20, and you can get some certification at the end of it. But every little website or
opportunity
exactly that you get, you just have to beef up your skills.
I think from the trend, I see self-learning as a very big requisite skill in data science, because most people I've spoken to seem to have to, like, you have to have that discipline to self-learn and self-train yourself, because no platform or no form of education can give you all. So you have to self-develop. Is that going to be the trend, especially in the future for a while now?
I think that is the cheapest. That is the cheapest because you can go online, you can get a 1 hour training, you can get 30 minutes training. There are some that go like 3-4 hours training. You just have to subscribe to their page. Okay. Now, there are formal ways of training where you can get maybe you do a diploma or a certification in a university online. It's rather unfortunate. I've just come around and none of the Ghana universities is doing something in just data science. You get management information systems, or you get information management or something like that. But data science, we are yet to get one university, one or two, that can have a collaboration with any other university to get that training, because it's very important. There are people who can't learn, they don't do too well when they are learning on their own. They want somebody to stand in front of them to teach them something, and then from there, they can take up their training. Recently, somebody came to see me and said, he wants a job, he's done 1 or 2 trainings. I said, look, you're already employed. Go back to your organization, you have data. I showed him what to do. Pick a project from the data you have and build something. Once you build that and you can give it to one department or one business to use, and they can attest that the model you have built is good, you can put that on your CV. It gives you a better CV than somebody who's coming fresh from school. All that information is there online. Okay, so I think tuition is the cheapest that we have now. If you have money, you can travel outside, get some training. But there are a lot on YouTube, on GitHub as well.
You make a very vital point that I've been telling a lot of people who have inboxed me since I started this data science Ghana project, asking how to start and what to do, having trainings, like you say, data sets abound. Personally, it was how I got into the field. That the company I work with, I saw data abounding as a training electrical engineer and wanted to move in. Felt, I can do something with the data. You go online. I did the Microsoft certification, the data specialist certification. And I started, like you're saying, I started analyzing the data and now showing it to my boss and said, wow, what is this? Like giving them insight. Like you say, data science is one field that you don't require permission from anybody to start. You can even go to the nearest shop by you and say, okay, owner, I want to just analyze your data. Don't pay me. I just want experience. And like you're saying, data abounds online. People are putting data on GitHub. Most statistics today are free, especially on the World Bank, the EU. There's Kaggle gives free data for, and even pays you if you're able to solve some business solutions.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing that I think listeners should take note, that if you want to get into data science, you should be ready for practice and start where you are, build a CV with data that is available, and you would be, at least you start building some expertise.
Model.
One thing you mentioned was the Ghana training. I think that we need to start probably lobbying and talking to some institutions, or maybe set up something small to help others. I think we need to talk, we need to move from the talk and probably talk about that in the future. There are a lot of young people that I believe that data science is an easy way Ghana can, it's a skill set. I don't believe that it is location bound.
No, it's
You
not.
can be, yeah, you can be in Ghana and be doing gigs for companies in the US. The same principle. It's not as if you require some machine. So I think with something that we can, I hope I will contact you on that and see how we can help.
I'm open to that.
All right. What are you talked about what are the main opportunities in data analytics, especially in Ghana data science?
Because it's a semi or pretty much a new area, you have a lot of opportunities. Now, you can get a job in a financial institution, an insurance company, in a retail company, in the health service, a lot. You can choose to say that I don't want to work for one company. I want to just do contracting.
Yeah, freelance.
Another opportunity that I see is that with the COVID, companies are employing people all over the world. They will look for where they can pay slightly cheaper than maybe getting somebody in the US. So we have the likes of the Indians to compete with. And also, if we build that skill set in Ghana, a lot of the jobs will be coming to Ghana as well. So you can just put a few young people together. It will be an opportunity for them to build on their skills as well and their career. So for somebody who goes into data in this era that we are and going forward, I think it's a good thing. You have a lot of opportunities ahead of you. And there's this saying that data science is the sexiest job of the 20th century. I agree.
Yeah.
Because it fits everywhere and it's cool. And I mean, you use data to do a few things, present it somewhere, and you're like, wow, okay. So,
wow.
you know. So I believe that it has a lot of opportunities, and we can take advantage of that.
It may be just a simple answer you might thought you've done, but people are just like, it may just be a simple analysis, but it being new in Ghana. I mean, simple Excel tools, people are clapping and do small visualization. And it's fascinating because now in the beginning.
There's one thing I want to say. Usually, when they say data science, I think the science scares a lot of people. Okay. Once they hear the science, it scares them. But data analysis, BI, they are all arms of it.
Yeah.
When you add a bit of statistics and the mathematical models, trying to get some regression and doing some probability and things, even that, There are a lot of modules out there, libraries you can call. Just understand what probability is, understand what regression is. If you're doing an A/B test, understand what you are looking out for. So it's not really scary as it sounds. I'm not a math person. I didn't do maths in sixth form. I'm a pure art student. I did
Wow.
English literature, government, religion, and general paper. Old school. Yeah.
So some
So
people will be so excited hearing this that
yes,
I mean
so it's not. Don't let the science bit scare you. There are a lot of free materials out there you can read. So if you say regression, what do they mean? You read it, it's in plain English. So there's a function you will call. When you call that function, what data parameters you throw in, and it presents it to you. You can just go and compare how to interpret what you have gotten out of your model. It's all there. So it's not scary. So I encourage a lot of people to get into data science. We've already been, some people are already doing it, but they don't know that they
and
are
they
on
don't know
the
it's
pathway
called.
to
Yeah, I believe what you're saying is so true. The science maybe just be scared with the terminologies that people should just know it's just working with data. There are so many facets of data science, and people should be encouraged that somebody with literature background, with religion and other things is able to be the head of business intelligence. It's something that we shouldn't scare people away with too much.
Yes.
There's even an art side of data science where
Exactly.
visualizations and storytelling is a whole new field on its own. So people should be encouraged. I was recently telling a young graphic designer that go into data visualization, and I mean it's a new area that you can easily, and it's opening up. So guys out there, there's so much of opportunity. So what are the skill sets and some of the activities you think is required to succeed in being in data science?
Okay. So I mentioned a few in my the previous comment I made. You should have a bit of understanding of data structures. Okay, by data structures, we're looking at numbers, characters in text, images, blobs, stuff like that. Have understanding of them. Now, how can you get them to talk to each other? So you should have maybe a little bit of database understanding. So that I have some entity relationship modeling sort of. So if I have this table and that table that contains data, how do they speak to each other? You should also have a bit of stats, statistics to say, okay, if I throw this out there and I put a graph, maybe a histogram on it, what is it telling me? One is long, one is short. How do I explain that to somebody who doesn't understand the art I'm putting on the screen? When do I use a trend line? If I say trend line, what do I want to show to the person? I'm comparing something year on year, so I need a bit of stats there. So somebody say yes, you need a bit of maths, but it's
So
not
rigid.
too advanced maths that you need. If you are into advanced data science, yes, I'll say you need that. But to start, data structures,
The
databases,
basics.
and statistics, a bit of visualization, and programming. Programming because you do coding, so you should know, you define a
Some basics.
variable, what you need to pass to it. There are all structures that are
The
there.
language.
It's not difficult. Okay, you define something, you call it, it passes out something, it gives out an output. It's just 3 4 lines. Once you understand that structure, you can put a lot of things in there to get more lines. So instead of passing one, the next time you're passing two, you're passing three, you are looping them. So you know a bit of programming. Somebody will say, which programming language? I'll say start with Python. Python is easy.
I
Start with
see.
Python.
At least you've shown where to start. That if not anything, if you have like don't know which program to start with Python.
Yeah.
That's
and also
at
Excel
least.
is very important as well. Excel.
Oh my.
Excel is very good. Knowledge of Excel is also very.
All right.
Yeah.
But at least you've shown us a lot. I wish this interview would last. I think I'll do a sequel maybe after December, special one with you. Maybe you have a whole session where you teach
Right.
the basics from some little statistics, maybe do some slides, show us the basics, stats, regression, what do we mean by probability, some basics, and as well as something that we can look up to. So what are your final words, Sam?
Well, what I would like to say is that we are in good times. COVID has brought these challenges, but then it's a good time for those of us in data as well, because people are working from different locations, and the only thing they will understand is collecting data from wherever they are sitting to enable them make decisions. People are working from home. You want to know, are they really working? How do you know if they are really working? How do you know if the targets you set, whether you are approaching it or you are far away from it? So I would say that as many as can go into data science, please go. It doesn't get filled up. IT is having a good laugh at the moment because it seems
It's their
this is
time.
our football season,
Yeah.
So I'll say that a lot of people, it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor. There's this, I'll mention these developers in Vogue. There is a group, where they kind of encourage young women. They do a lot of development. Occasionally, they have seminars. They get me to do a presentation. They are doing a lot with JSS students, SHS students. You don't have to have any. You shouldn't be at the top of your class or anything. So I would say that as many as that can go into data science, please do. You can start from anywhere. Go onto YouTube, type in data science tutorials or something will come up. And once you have that, don't wait for somebody to employ you. Get some free data out there, open source data, do something, and when you see the advert, or go to the organization and say, look, I can do ABC. If you give me your data, this is what I have done. They will engage you.
Wow. Yeah. That's really huge. I'm so excited and I've learned a lot with this interview. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we would engage on another level. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Sarah Oppan has been my guest. She's the head of data analytics at Echobank Group. She actually oversees business analytics and big data and reporting system within a 34 affiliate for the finance. She oversees some African countries and UAE as well. She's a big woman. We are glad to have her. Slice and dice in the profession of data science, and at least break some myths for us and some of the skills that we need. Very interactive. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, all viewers. And hopefully we'll catch you another time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So